All right, let's talk plantar fasciitis. Let's talk about what it is and how many people deal with it and when it goes away. So first and foremost, I'm going over a study here and I wanted to review it with you. And after the study, I'm going to talk about the exercises that they show that are most effective for plantar fasciitis. So stay tuned and subscribe to this channel for more information in the future that will be helpful in keeping you on the road, keeping you going. So first and foremost, 2 million Americans each year deal with plantar fasciitis. 10% of those, it lasts for 10 months or longer. So 90% of people, they just get better after 10 months with perhaps a little massage, ball rolling out, some ice, the traditional things that people do. But what if you're in that 10% category, that it lasts longer than 10 months? And here it says in the study, it says that most studies so far that talk about plantar fasciitis, they talk about the short-term changes. So it really just goes over the changes over a relatively small amount of time. But this study goes over 2 years. So this is looking at people who have had plantar fasciitis for greater than 10 months. And then it has a specific protocol of exercise or one specific exercise that they do. And this exercise effectiveness over the course of 2 years, making sure that plantar fasciitis doesn't come back to the extent that it was before. So it says here that all the people in the study had chronic plantar fasciitis, which means they had it for 10 months or longer. They were instructed to perform the exercise 3 times a day, which can be difficult for some people. But if you're really dealing with plantar fasciitis and you want to get back out on the road, 3 times a day may not be all that bad. And that was for 8 weeks. They do the exercise. And then going on here, talking about the study, this is the part that's really cool. It talks about the results here. So in the results, it says that 62% of the people in the study achieved the best result within 6 months after initiation of the plantar fasciitis stretching program. So that means that the people that started this and did the stretch for 8 weeks, and then they continue to do it as needed, after 6 months, they really made a really good recovery. And then when they were followed up with at 2 years, they had maintained that recovery. 77% reported there was no limitation in recreational activities or daily activities. 92% of the people in the study reported total satisfaction with this. Something else that I think is really interesting, it talks about the surgical interventions here. It says, despite varied surgical methods, the typical recovery is prolonged and is often does not allow for full function. So even though the people had the surgery, they were not able to get back to full function. So they were saying here that the exercise was actually more effective than the surgery or having a surgery. They said a frequently used surgical approach, which is called a partial plantar fascia release with nerve release, has a very mixed outcomes. It says here that 50% of patients with chronic heel pain were satisfied with the surgical intervention. So flip a coin. You know, there's a chance you'll be satisfied. There's a chance you won't be. So flip a coin. Maybe it goes well for you. Maybe it doesn't. Whereas with this exercise, they show that 92% of the people that started this program actually had a fully satisfaction or full results. So what's better? Flip that coin and do the surgery, or try this exercise over the course of 8 weeks and upwards of six months. So I personally say the exercise. It's much better as far as actual results reported in the study. So it says here that we suggest the use of, and this is the suggestion from the physicians that did this study, we suggest the use of plantar fasciitis specific stretching protocol for 6 months. If it is not successful at that point, and another treatment approach should be pursued. So like I said, surgery was fairly ineffective in this study, whereas the results from the actual stretches and exercises here were 92% effective. So I'm going to go over the exercises here with you. So stick with me. This is the important part. We'll go through the exercises together. If you have any questions or comments specifically about your case of plantar fasciitis, leave them in the comments and I'll try and get to them. Or if you want better or more information in the future, I would love to have you subscribe and get my future videos. Otherwise, hang tight and let's do those exercises together. Thanks. Hey, welcome back. Just want to review this exercise from the study that we were just talking about. The most effective exercise, they did two different exercises. The most effective one was seated. So go ahead and take place in a chair. You're going to cross your leg over. You're going to pull, I want you to pull your ankle up, and then you're going to take your hand and you're going to pull your toes, all of your toes, especially your big toe, upwards, and you're going to hold for 10 seconds. With your other hand, you'll essentially gently rub that tight area of your foot while you're holding this. You'll hold for 10 seconds, and then you relax, and then again, another 10 seconds, and you will do this 10 times for 10 seconds. So maybe let's get just a little closer look here. All right, so here we are at the bottom of my foot. The plantar fascia runs along the bottom here, attaches right here in the heel. This is most usually where people feel a lot of their pain. You're going to bring your foot upwards, so like so, and then you're going to take your hand and you're going to pull your toes back. You might notice that tight band in your foot, and you're going to massage that for 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, you're going to relax and you're going to repeat that 10 times. And you need to do this 3 times a day. The first time that you do it during the day is when you first wake up in the morning. That's important. You want to warm it up first thing in the morning. The other 2 times during the day that you do it, just do it maybe halfway through the day and then towards the end of the day. But 3 times a day, 10 times, 10-second hold. And that they found that this stretch was just as effective as surgery, actually more effective. So they said by doing this stretch for 8 weeks every day, it reduced the chronic plantar fasciitis that people were having. 92% of the people reported excellent results. With that, if you get to the 8-week mark and you're continuing to have plantar fasciitis, continue the stretch. And they say after 8 weeks, use that stretch as needed. So use it when you feel like your foot is tender. And they said after 6 months, if you're continuing to have plantar fasciitis problems, at that point, it's a good time to start seeking alternative methods, whether that's corticosteroid shots or whether that's seeking surgery or whatever else it is. But you have a really good chance with this exercise of reducing your pain and getting back to running according to this study. So I hope it helps for you. If you have any questions or concerns, definitely reach out.